Hello and welcome back to another video at the Capital Traders Group. Now in this video I'm going to be showing you how exactly I made $21,000 trading gold this week. Now gold is it's a much more volatile asset, right? It's a commodity, so it trades very differently than normal currencies and pairs. So in this video I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks and some strategies that I've implemented over the years that actually will help you in particular when it comes to trading gold. So without further ado, make sure you drop a like and subscribe, and let's just jump right into it. So first thing first, I'm gonna jump on the weekly time frame, okay? And what I want you to see right here is this current structure on gold, right? We have these relative lows, right, that got taken out here, right? And then what else do we have is we have these highs which are still intact. So after you see these lows get taken out, you see price basically make an impulsive push to the upside, right? Leaving all this liquidity above untapped, okay? So keep that in mind, okay? So let me just get rid of all this first, and let's leave the higher liquidity above intact. So first thing you do have to notice on the high time frame, you need to pay attention to key level structures and liquidity pockets. So the first zone would be here, right? This is the bullish zone that hunted all these stops that were placed below these lows, and that led to such a big push on gold, okay, which led to about a 22 or almost a 23% push just on gold alone. But what you can see here is we still have liquidity above the target, right? This liquidity pool that still needs to get hit in the near future at some point, okay? So this is a good point of reference to target, which is 2075, right? $2,000 basically, right? So first thing first, after we see that that liquidation event, what do we see? We have a clear impulse, right? We have a clean impulse, and now we're basically sort of in a corrective phase of that impulse, okay? Which means price is likely going to correct, right, until we see that next impulse to the $2,000 region, okay? So basically that's what we're sort of looking at now for gold, right, in terms of the higher time frame. So let's push down to the low time frames now. Now it's important to understand we distributed here on the higher time frames on around around the $2,000 level, right? You have 3 taps of distribution before you see an expansion push to the downside, okay? So this is an important zone to keep an eye out for bearish scenarios to come and play. But in order for us to come out and take out this liquidity pocket on the higher time frame, we need to take out this distributive order. And usually before you see that occur, price needs to accumulate or take liquidity from below before it can take out a distribution above, okay? So basically the market is just hunting for liquidity on higher time frame and lower time frame. But before I get into that, let's just jump in the lower time frames again, okay? So what you can see here is, let me go to 12 hour, right? So what you can see here is this is a good zone of reference here, this low. This is a good demand zone. Why? Because price gave us a good reaction from this zone, a bullish reaction, to come out and take all this liquidity here, right? This is clean equal highs, right? Another liquidity. And what did price do? It came out and took out all that liquidity there, right? Which is a good a zone to keep an eye on. So this is a clear demand zone that price came out and took out this liquidity from, which means buyers were clearly buying from this level, okay? So it's a good zone to map out on your level, especially because it was the last demand zone that took out the liquidity point, okay? It's also a good idea to mark out this zone, okay, for future reference, okay, for potential bearish reactions from, okay? So it's a good idea to mark out this zone. If you're asking me why, mainly because this was the last zone that took out this liquidity, right? It took out this liquidity before we had a bearish push to the downside. Secondly, pay attention to what price has done. It's now taken out this low, right? And it's also taken out this previous demand low as well, which means is we've taken out both liquidity points, okay? So point 1 and then point 2, right? So usually when you have liquidation like this occur, right, especially on gold on the high time frames, because this is on the 12 hour, this is usually a good idea to start looking out for reversals. Okay, so we've taken two lows, right? Important lows on a high time frame. Um, we've taken out those lows, so we've hunted all stops in that area. So now would be a good idea to look for or pay attention to any shift in the previous trend. Now, one thing I want you to keep an eye on also is this slow momentum in price. So price has been basically slowing down, which means sellers are slowing down, right? Which means the strength of sellers is basically slowing down. This is what I like to refer to as compression. All right, we have a clear compression in price. Now, another thing is when you have compression, it's another indication of a potential reversal to occur in the market. So keep that in mind. So number one, you want to pay attention to important liquidity points being taken out. Second, you want to be paying attention to compression in price. Okay, so if I even jump down even lower to the lower time frame, what you'll start to see is we sort of have this trend. If I mark it out with the trend line tool, you'll sort of see we have this sort of trend. To put it a lot simpler, right? We have this clear trend, right? And what basically now we've taken out these lows. What I'd like to see now for price to do is basically push above, break structure, and then sort of consolidate, where I can start looking for lower time frame confirmations to then long this into where my first target would be is 1946. The reason for that is on the lower time frame there is equal highs present here at 1946, and obviously my second target would obviously be into 1965. Now that's only if price, right, gives us a shift in structure now. Okay, so let's push down to the lower time frames and let's see what price is actually doing now. Okay, so let's go on the 1 hour. Now again, you need to pay attention, right? These are both of the liquidations that have taken place on gold on the higher time frames. Okay, so now my zones of reference that I'm paying attention to is this low and this high. So let me get rid of all of this. Right, we know we have liquidations and we have a clear trend, right? We have a clear trend. Now let's see what price does. Okay, now pay attention to what price did to this low. It wicked out this low. Okay, it wicked out this low before pushing up again, right? Which is something you need to keep an eye on. This is another liquidation. Okay, so in essence, a stop hunt that gold likes to do. It likes to wick out all previous lows before you see a shift in trend. Now, in order for this shift to be valid, what we need to now see is a shift in this previous high as well. Now, this is my higher time frame zone, right, which will confirm the shift in trend. But in order for a price to fully shift now, it needs to take out this internal structure. Okay, because you first need to pay attention to internal structure before external structure becomes your point of reference. Okay, so if we just and look, as you can see, what did price do? It took out that previous high. Okay, so in essence, what you have here now is demand being built where this low was taken out. Right, remember what I said, when liquidations occur, you want to pay attention to the point that took that liquidation and then broke structure. Okay, so this would be a good zone to long. Okay, and I believe this was an area where I was looking for longs on this trade, because once this low was swiped and the high was swiped, I understood that once structure breaks again, okay, so once structure breaks again, if it takes out this high, then it's going to confirm the trend, the shift in trend. Okay, so the reason why you want to wait for more confirmations is because you're trading against the trend, and when you trade against the trend, it's a lot more dangerous, especially when it comes to gold. So that's why you want to be waiting for a lot more confirmations. But in this scenario, we're seeing a clear neutralization of liquidity. So if we let price play it out a little bit, what you'll see is a clear push up in trend. Okay, and then exactly as we saw, right, price came back into my zone of reference, and this is exactly where me and the team entered longs. I'll leave a screenshot of the entry that I shared with the team. Okay, but you can see that this is exactly why I entered, right, with the team. around this level, and then my my first target was obviously 5694, and then my second target is obviously above here. Okay, so this is where I was looking to target price, but just like I said, right, we had the lows liquefied, then we had the highs liquefied, and then price broke that external structure again. Look, what did price do? It broke that external structure, giving us a confirmation. Okay, this is internal. Okay, this is internal. Let me just put it up higher just so it's easier for you to see. Right, we had the internal structure shift first, then the external structure, and then once that external structure was taken, all I was looking for was a zone to enter below the 50% level, as that's considered to be a discounted zone. So anywhere below the 50% level would be considered a good entry point on this particular trade. And if I just let it run, right, you'll see it for yourself. Let's go on, let price play a little bit, and as you can see, price had played absolutely beautifully. Okay, currently price is around almost coming to my swing target where we've already taken profits out of the market. But as you can see, right, we paid attention to higher time frame liquidations, looked at compression on lower time frames, paid attention to structure and liquidity liquidations on the lower time frames, confirming internal and external structure being shifted before even looking for entries. Now, the reason again why you want to look for all these changes in structure is because you're trading against the trend, and on gold you need a lot more confirmation in order for you to get in the right position, because if not, you're going to end up basically taking a lot of unnecessary losses. Okay, so I'll leave a screenshot of the profit on this position as well, so you can take a look at that. Also, guys, if you enjoyed this video, found any value in it, please do leave a like and subscribe. I did share this trade with members, so if you want to take a look at that, links will be in the description down below. But with all that said and done, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.